We all understand the value of real estate agents, what they bring to the table, yet struggle to understand the benefits that independent ERP consultants have. So that's what we are going to discuss in this video. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Gupta, and I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients when they undertake any digital transformation initiatives from the discovery phase to strategy to business case development and all the way to implementation. So now let's get back to today's topic, which is going to be the top 10 reasons why independent ERP consultants are like your real estate agents. So let's look at the reasons now. Number 10 reason on our list is the ability to expedite the process. If you hire the real estate agent, the first thing they are going to do is, do you have your mortgage approved? And when anybody starts their home buying journey, they sometimes they don't even know that they need to get the mortgage approved, and they are going to be wasting a lot of time and money. So that's why the real estate agents are going to have that question. The second question they are going to have is, what is going to be your budget? How much can you afford? How much can you get from the bank? And these are very similar questions that an ERP consultants are going to ask as well. Each business is going to be different. Each transaction is going to be different. So if you go through the framework, they can save a lot of time as well as money. So it's a very similar role as your real estate agents. So that's number 10. Now, number 9 on our list is going to be they offer a structured framework. Now, sometimes when you are going to be buying home, then you are most likely going to be tempted by the house, and you are probably going to put an offer on a house that you might think that might go away. Some people might say that, you know what, the house is not going to stay in the market for a very long time, and then you are probably rushing. And sometimes there could be clauses for the penalty on the contract. And if you have been in the real estate market, or if you have somebody who can coach you on these things, what to look for in a contract, then you might save yourself. But this is just one example. There are going to be many different examples of such things where you require the structured framework as well as understanding of how these industries operate. In the case of ERP, you need to understand the business model of each of the different vendors, how they operate, and that is going to help you in creating the structured framework. And that's where the ERP selection consultants really specialize in. So that's number 9. Now, number 8 on our list is they help in building the consensus. And this is going to be a very similar process when you are buying home, then everybody's sort of fighting with each other in terms of what they want in a house. And sometimes there are going to be technical and financial constraints that they might not be thinking. Sometimes you, as head of the house, you might not even have a cloud to argue with. Let's say if mommy says that she wants something in the house, or daughter says that she wants something in a house. For example, let's say if they are demanding for a specific type of kitchen that does not really fit in the model of the house that they are looking for, that's probably not going to work. They might ask that, hey, can we build this kitchen? And if you are going to build, you might have some other problems in the house. So you need to analyze all of that. And to build the consensus, you need to understand the technical financial model. You need to understand the underlying motivations of people. You need to find out what they care for so that you can really negotiate with them in building the consensus. So that's number 8. Now, number 7 on our list is ability to negotiate contracts. Typically, the assumption is going to be that both parties are going to have the similar amount of knowledge, information to be able to negotiate. When you negotiate, you lose something to gain. And typically, when you are dealing with these ERP vendors and the resellers, they have hired professional negotiators, and they know everything about you before you get into the negotiation call. They'll give away in the hope of gaining something else, and you are going to be happy by getting these things. For example, in the case of ERP, it could be, let's say, ability to send an email or ability to send the notification on your mobile. Sometimes the newer platforms might have these basic capabilities, but they might not have the deeper capabilities from the supply chain planning perspective, from the scheduling, from the costing perspective. And you are going to have the substantial financial performance supply chain issues. And that's where the independent ERP consultants can help you in coaching your eyes in terms of what to look for in a contract, what to negotiate on. So when you hire a real estate agent on your side, it's going to be the buyer and seller real estate agent negotiating between them. It's a very similar arrangement as your real estate situation. So that's number 7. Now, number 6 on our list is going to be ability to architect and design. Buying home itself could be a very overwhelming journey in terms of the number of moving parts that are going to be involved, the number of emotions that are going to be involved during the process, because obviously this is probably going to be one of the most expensive purchase that you have ever done. The same thing goes with your ERP. ERP is probably going to be one of the most expensive purchase or disruptive purchase that your company is ever going to do. So just the procurement process, just the selection process, that's so overwhelming. And now if you are going to be architecting or designing, and if you don't really have as the background in designing a software or designing a software around these ERP systems that require the deeper understanding of the data model of these ERP systems, the subject matter expertise on every single product out there, to be able to design, to be able to architect a solution around that, to make sure that the integrations are going to work. And that's where the independent ERP consultants can help in identifying the right solutions that are going to be in your budget, that is not going to have any sort of technical or financial risk. So that's number 6. Now, number 5 on our list is ability to uncover your current needs. Let's face it, when you look at your house, you are going to have several implied expectations. You are not even going to pay attention to them when you are looking for your new house. When you look at different houses, and since you are not buying the houses on a daily basis, it's very hard for you to understand where things fail. And that's why the documenting the as is processes, documenting those implied expectations that you have in your head, the independent ERP consultants can help you take that out from your head, even though those might be the implied expectations for you. But you still need to document, not only to build consensus, not only to identify the implications of those as is processes, but also to be able to create the to be model. And that's where these implied expectations are going to be super critical, that you need to document. So that's number 5. Now, number 4 on our list is ability to blueprint your to be house. If you are struggling with your as is model, the to be model is even harder. You are going to have questions such as, how do I know what my business is going to do in next 5 to 10 years? How do I know if I'm going to sell, if we are going to be acquiring any companies, if the business model is going to change, if the competitive landscape is going to change? What if we need to have a warehouse? What if I need to have a facility? And these are all valid questions you are going to have. Some of these questions are going to matter overall from the digital model perspective, and some of those may not be as meaningful. And that's where the expertise comes in, because when you talk to any of the independent ERP consultants, what they are going to do is they are working with businesses like you at different stages. So they sort of know what problems you are going to get. Let's say right now you are at $10 million and you are trying to get to 50 or 100 or maybe 250. They are working with businesses at different stages. They understand the data requirements. They understand the process requirements. They understand how the teams are going to grow, and they sort of understand how to design this architecture and what you need to have in your architecture when you are going to be at that stage. So even though you might not be sure about what you want to do in the to be model, but they can show you how similar companies have their to be model, and that can take you to, let's say, 60, 70, 80% close to the to be model, which is probably good enough for an ERP implementation. But if you are going to be designing the to be model by yourself, you might be at 10%, 20% close. And if the constraints or the assumptions change in the model, then you might have issues. You might need to do the re-implementation or new implementation depending upon how your business model and the transactions are going to change. So that's number 4. Now, number 3 on our list is the ability to manage change. And with ERP implementation, it's almost like moving the whole city, because the number of complications that are involved, the number of moving pieces that are going to be there with most of the ERP implementations. For example, let's say when you are doing your ERP, let's say if your license plate number is going to change or the SKU number is going to change. Now, that might have implications on your customer driven processes, or that might go on packaging. So you need to account for these things, how these workflows are going to impact customers, vendors, as well as the product teams or marketing teams. So everything is sort of connected when you think of the ERP systems. So when you are doing these implementations, issues such as this may cause disruptions, even though the ERP implementation may be okay from the technical perspective. But overall, if you look at the business operations, when you are going to go live, you need to think about all of these things, how they are going to be taken care of, what all is going to be impacted and changed in the 2B model. And that's where the independent ERP consultants can help you in documenting all of those things, in making sure that you have a plan for every single possibility that you are going to have, and those are going to be sequenced correctly, prioritized correctly, budgeted correctly. So that's number 3. Now, number 2 on our list is ability to uncover financial and technical risks. When you look at any of the real estate agents, they are going to know so much, not only about the house, but also the context around the house. They know which house is going to have the mold issues or which area is going to have foundation issues. They are probably going to know which house may have had a cases of, let's say, suicide or murder, and that typically reduces the value of your house. So they are going to know all of these things, but you as the house owner may not know this. The same thing goes with the ERP systems as well. There's so much going on underneath all of those pretty demos that you are going to see, and you just don't understand how the plumbing of the technology is working underneath, what kind of code they have. Sometimes these companies are running mainframe. Sometimes they are only trying to show a pretty screen, but they might not have a real code running underneath. So all of these things, only the experts can understand who is doing this on a daily basis. So that's number 2. Now, number 1 on our list is the access to proprietary intelligence. And with house, the real estate agents are going to have access to many different databases. They are going to have their own proprietary networks. They are going to be building their own databases in terms of their experiences as they are buying or selling the houses. The more information they have, the better house that they can get, the better discounts that they can get for their customers. The same thing goes for the ERP consultants as well. ERP consultants are documenting pretty much everything with their own experiences. They are going to have proprietary databases where they are ranking vendors, resellers, where the implementation is likely to fail. So they have this proprietary intelligence that you are not going to have, or your team members are not going to have, unless you are doing this on a daily basis. So that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we publish these videos on a weekly basis. So you might want to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2023, we will include the link in the comments. So you might want to check that. This podcast is also available in the audio form on Google, Spotify, and Apple. So check there and hit the subscribe button. If you really like what I say, then we are going to include the link for the detailed article that is going to have a lot more details than just this video. So you might want to check that. On that note, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.